Personal power, people positive, the community of connection. This is the Bob Jeswald Show.
I know we make light of this, but it's almost we have to. I know there was times, because Cynthia, when I talked to your mom first, it was emotional. And I know I felt it in you. A lot of tears are shed. I know today was going to be hard for me, too, because I got kids, and I'm trying to, we kept it really upbeat, which I think is important. But the good news is from all this, and I always like to attribute our Heavenly Father, Bob, that's just me and my faith as a Christian.
Same here.
And there's people, free country, whoever you worship or whatever you do. But I do believe when you told how profound that was when she said that, you were teetering on the brink of death. I mean, and he didn't know it. He was tripping on, what is it called again? Dilaudid. And he was dreams. I never want to dream again. But what makes us, and just to keep us on time here too, plus you got to go to a recording studio here shortly. To this day today, I mean, when you said that, do you feel that there was an immune compromise situation here, or is this just coincidental, or do you think it had anything to do? I know we kind of started this out because people are probably sitting and listening and saying, well, does this have anything to do with the vaccine? Because we don't know that 100%. We can't conclude that. We'll never know. It's
just a guess.
But it's an educate. We're making, just so people think we're not trying to draw, we're not trying to go against it. It just seems awfully strange, very coincidental during this time of a pandemic, COVID. I mean, we don't even know. Even people who've never maybe had vaccine or didn't have any reaction. I mean, even with me with COVID, you hear people getting this COVID lung. I got a guy that I run with too. He can't catch his breath still after COVID. He had nothing to do. I don't even know if he even got a vaccine or not. But you just don't know. This thing is, we're not going to know for years and years and years. Or did it? Were you? Maybe you had it and didn't know it, or exposed to it, or was it the vaccine that maybe just did something to your immune system where it's the point where it's like, dude, you just made this even more susceptible than I already was because you said it seems to affect a lot of Latinos more than the average person.
I just really feel like at the end of the day, every vaccine is not for everybody. I know people who can't take the flu shot because it makes them very ill. And they're allergic to eggs.
Sure, because there's eggs in it.
Right,
and other
and they're allergic to that, so they can't take it. So
because you got to preserve it. I mean, people understand. I mean, thank God for vaccines in one way. If we didn't have them, most of us, we would be in big trouble.
But at the end of the day, I feel again, it compromised his own natural immune system for him.
Yeah, may not, and it didn't do it for me or to Joe Smith down the road, his partner next to him, and that's what's so crazy about it. But I think what you say is a salient point, Cynthia, that I think we as people, that's what's great about our country. You have the freedom to do what you want. Right. No one's going to force you. Although there were some companies that maybe did for whatever reasons or another, but you do have to really think it through. You got to know yourself. You would have never known. I mean, he's only 21 years old, so how the heck would you? He's just living his life. So we never. Now now this is something you got to tell a doctor before you get other future stuff. Say, hey, my immune system's really kind of compromised here. Would this harm it? Will it not? And if there's good, evidence and results that this particular vaccine, you're a kid in high school, you started, you probably already had vaccines up to this point. I'm sure you had quite a few. Yeah. I get a flu. I get the flu. I get Prevnar 13. I'm even teetering on trying to get this, what's the other one for?
Shingles?
Shingles, thank you. Yeah. You know my age, Cynthia. She looked at me. I know. Bob's in his 50s. He should be thinking shingles now. Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you right now, I sure as heck don't want to get that. So for me, because I know where I am on that, so I'm making an educated guess for me. Feeling good. Over the years, I can do it, but I may do it. But I can tell you this, and this is no fault of anyone else. I went and got a plant sterile. I don't even remember the name of it because I'm all about trying to do natural medicine. I do that.
That's a good idea.
And a friend of mine was doing it, and they offered a solution, a saline solution to give you a little vitamin C in that because I was dealing with my prostatitis. It's like a BPH thing again. And it's not because of my age. I've had it when I was his age. It was crazy because I sat down a lot of long story. But anyway, but I'm like an old man here and I'm not even. But I'm okay. But I said, yeah, inject me. I'm going to try that. And I was just open to it. I couldn't breathe. They had to get an ambulance and I ended up at St. Francis. Remember a doctor leaning in and my buddy who's now works for Piedmont, he looks in and he goes, Bob, what in the hell did you just take? I said, I don't even know what the name was. And it was nothing against them. I'm not even going to say their name or anything. Right. She said, they're dear. They were felt so bad. I was willing participant in that particular case to try this because they give it to cancer patients, I guess, some that come naturally. And it works great. of course, I get it. I'm like you, and all of a sudden I get into this thing. I didn't blow. Nothing like your story. I'm not trying to at all get close to what you're doing, but I can't breathe. I'm starting to close up my throat, and they boom put the EpiPen in my leg, and I was like jittering. Like so, I come in the emergency room. Here's the weather guy coming in, and I'm shaking like I got the DTs, and like, dude, what's wrong with this guy? I'm like this. They're like, was this guy on something, or what the heck's going on? Yeah, I said Dilaudid. Give me Dilaudid the next time, so I can have some wacky dreams. But on a positive note, now that you did that, Kyle, did you want to weigh in on anything? Is there anything you like want to say, or happy, sad, glad?
Well, I was just just the reason why I'm here. Really, I was just gonna like hype him up about like what his music and stuff.
Cool,
but like that's kind of not
okay. Hey,
that's like not on the topic y'all are on. So,
so in that case, why don't we? This is a good parlay now as we're wrapping up this podcast because we're getting close to it. I see you got your acoustic behind you, Seth. Tell us, you intro him, and you tell us what we need to know about his music. And Seth, you do what you got to do so we can roll it out here. Let's see. And he's going in a recording studio too. And by the way, was this written after all this happened, or is this be something you had before? You were working on a song before this all happened, right?
Oh, Amber's Guy?
Yeah.
Yes, I wrote it way before all this happened.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I wrote it way before all this happened.
Good, you know how to handle the mic. Look, you're a professional. He knows how to work in a music studio. So he's actually going to a studio after this to record something else. But
I'm actually going to play not Amber Sky.
Okay, you're not going to play Amber Sky.
Amber
but
Sky
you can look up. We're going to have a link. We got Lewis here.
Yeah.
Lewis, could we get a link to Amber Sky? We'll do it on here. We're going to put it on the bottom of this podcast. But go ahead, Kyle. Introduce him. Go ahead. You can do that for him. Tell us what's going on. And then give him back to Mike.
Well, basically, I just wanted to say that, like, he comes over to my house pretty much, like, every day, right?
Right.
He's, like, he always brings his guitar with him, and he's, like, always playing music, like, all the time.
If he ever brings an IV with Dilaudid, then you better run.
Yeah. So I basically just want to say that, like, I've heard a lot of his music, and, like, I personally, like, I don't really listen typically to the type of music that he plays. Like I listen to a lot of like hip hop and like rap and things like that. But I actually do like personally like enjoy listening to his music. Like after he dropped Amber Sky, like I was actually like listening to it a lot because like I actually enjoyed it because it's like actually like good music. Like it's not just like your mainstream like type of stuff. It's like actually like you could tell that like he puts his heart into his music. So cool. Yeah,
I like the way dude, I like that. I was trying to write this great. It's good. Yes, it looks like a very young Benicio del Toro. The good.
Can you imagine you said all of that?
Yeah, all that
like the worst.
Yeah, exactly. He's got that chisel look, the Benicio del Toro's high cheekbones. So go ahead. You're gonna let you play this out. And I want to say again,
this is not live, right?
No,
oh, I guess
it's gonna stream later.
Because I might mess it up.
And you're listening to it now, so it's streaming now.
Well, I might mess it up.
Nah, never.
No.
You don't want to think that way. Go ahead. You got it.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, sounds good. And you can bring here. We can even bring my mic closer too.
Oh, really?
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me make sure that this thing. There's like built-in acoustics to this guitar, which kind of gives the song really like dreamy feeling. I'm just saying. And it might be a little too loud, but we'll see. We'll see. You hear it? Like the difference?
Sounds good.
It's so cool. There you go. Hope I don't forget the lyrics.
Yeah, you got it.
Just one of those nights that I just can't sleep. Gotta stay up, dreaming of you. Just one of those nights that I gotta get away, gotta drive away, 'cause I'm going insane. Remembering your name, and I wish it was as easy as counting to 4. But when I get to see her already at my door, oh, I wish it was as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, now you're gone now. 4, 3, 2, 1, you're not gone. Oh, let me move on. 1, 2, 3, 4, now you're gone now. 4, 3, 2, 1, you're not gone. Oh, I'll never move on. One of those nights that I really gotta sleep, 'cause I need my rest from dreaming of you. And my dreams are so surreal that it feels like you're there. But when I turn my head, it's just a glare, oh, of the mirror you left behind. And I wish it was as easy as counting to 4. But when I get to 3, you're already back at my door, oh, I wish it was as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, now you're gone now. 4, 3, 2, 1, you're not gone. Oh, let me move on. 1, 2, 3, 4, now you're gone now. 4, 3, 2, 1, you're not gone. Oh, I'll never move on. Is it even worth it? 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 Yeah. Yeah.
Tell you, that was worth it.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth getting ribomyolysis, but but I got to tell you something. That is fantastic. John Mayer, look out. John Mayer, move over.
No. You speak so softly, but you carry a lot of strength with you, and especially being an Army Ranger too. I mean, and you still train like there's no tomorrow. Brandon, tell us what a muscle up is first.
A muscle up is basically a step up from a pull-up with the addition of a dip at the top of the bar. So
it's like a
pull-up
gymnast, Joanne, or you're saying?
Yeah, so you like pull yourself over the bar and then press yourself up.
That's crazy. Yeah. 1,300 of those in 24 hours.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear there's no kipping.
Okay, yeah. Which means, explain that to folks.
So kipping is like swinging your body, using your body weight for momentum to get over the bar.
So this is straight up nice form, good form, solid form with no swing, no moving, no kick, no trying to swing for momentum. Yep. Like and then maybe that's a bad analogy. I said a gymnast does use momentum to swing. You're not doing that.
No.
Wow.
Which makes it way harder.
Absolutely. I mean, just watching you do something like that. I mean, just the physical portion of this, what kind of training is involved in this? Is it just because you're just a guy who's always in fit, you work out all the time, you're a trainer, CrossFit CSG, you do your thing, or what's the deal?
It's really not as complicated as people make it out to be. It's, I mean,
you make it sound easy. It's easy for you.
It's a lot of the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'd be sitting there with my clients and be like, why is that guy doing that over and over and over again?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I showed up to her gym, everyone thought I was crazy. So,
well, hey, somebody's got to set a world record, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that being said, Joanne saying it's the repetitive motion. What kind of, I mean, we're talking about aches and pains. I mean, I think about, I do pull-ups, which is totally different and so much easier. It's like half of the effort.
Pull-ups or chin-ups, Bob?
Well, I do. Well, pull up to me, I do a pull up wide grip, pull up where I pull myself up over the bar, and then a chin up, I'm reversing it like this and then pull myself
just
up.
Just making sure.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to chins and.
I didn't say anything.
Joanne, come on! I got some physical attributes here that I understand. But she's right. She's got to test me. That's okay. Keep me in check. But what you get that little, I was telling you guys, like some tendinitis or something. Mm-hmm. That would be the first thing someone may ask. It's like, how do you do this? And you go through all this aches and pains. And then we're going to talk about, you're working with Gallant Fuel a little bit too in the same space of what Corey Smith did. I mean, if Corey Smith ran 565 miles to the point where he's got stress fractures in his feet, and then he had to ride a bike the rest of the way. I mean, is it sort of like that? I mean, you're putting your body through a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I anticipated injuries to happen. I mean, I throughout the training, I tried to prevent them as much as I could by doing a lot of accessory work and really building up the shoulders and the joints and things like that. But I mean, I knew that somewhere along the line, I'd have to take a step back and address some issues as they came up.
Are you, I mean, Joanne, I look at you, you just seem, do you think he was going to do this? Be honest. Did you think he was
gonna... absolutely, 100%. There was no doubt in my mind.
Is it the mental acuity of a Ranger that, because I know I come from Ranger family, got, you know, nephews, father-in-law, everybody, you know, that are Rangers. I get it. They're you guys are, there's no excuse. Does that training help? Or do you think, you know, if you were just a civilian guy doing it, you have to train a different way? Or do you just think you're used to getting through that pain?
So for the training, I think a lot of people, they limit their goals. They limit themselves by setting small goals. And for me, I don't think you should do that. I think you should set a big goal and then break it down into more manageable goals. And that's kind of how I approached it. I mean, I knew that it would take some time, but I built off of the pull-ups, so I had already trained for 14 months, and so I kind of carried that movement into the muscle-ups, and then just kind of backwards planned on, hey, here's the number I want to be at before I attempt it, and how do I get there?
What was your pull-up number?
7,715.
Jeez.
In 24 hours. It's another world record.
Yeah, because that was the other, right,
Yeah.
that's the other world record. I just,
it's a lot of,
it's just, man.
It's a lot of pull-ups.
Wow.
Brandon.
I mean, who did you surpass in the Guinness Book? Who was the other person in the world? Is it someone in the United States or another American, or is it somewhere else?
For the pull-ups?
Yes.
For the pull-ups, his name was John Orth, and I believe he's out of Colorado.
Okay.
He makes violins for a living.
Really?
Yeah, I guess he's like an avid rock climber as well. So
that makes sense. Yeah,
that makes sense.
He can hang there for. He'd be one of those guys you go to the mall and they say, "Hey, we'll give you 100."
See that one coming.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, really, exactly. I'll give you $100 if you could just hang there for.
But I did learn a lot from him. I obviously did my research and was looking into kind of what he was doing when I was training for the pull-ups, or what he did to set that current record, and it was just a lot of reps. There was nothing special about his training other than he was doing a ton of pull-ups. And when I first saw like how many he was doing, it really humbled me. It made me really kind of step my game up. So
yeah, you touched on something, being humble. It's always when you come from that space, it seems like it gives you the right, you know, you get the right mark above that. Joanne's looking at me. She's giving,
that's just my look.
But here's the thing. Is there a camaraderie thing? I mean, does Orth just give you a call and say, dude, thanks for breaking my record? Or does he?
No, so I reached out to him
okay.
About a week before I attempted to break his record. I shot him a message. Hey, I'm going to try to break your record. I would love it if you'd give me some advice, you know, on how I can make this happen. And he was nice enough and humble enough to kind of give me some pointers. And one of the big things was keeping my hands dry. Had I not called him or messaged him, I probably wouldn't have broke his record.
So chalk? What do you do? Just dry it off with a towel? Or?
No. So I had, going into it, when I called him, it was about a week out from my attempt. I had one pair of gloves. I had a pair of grips. I had that was it. Just the stuff I'd been training with. And he was like, how many gloves do you have? You know, what's your plan for keeping them dry? And I was like, I have one pair.
Oh, he's like,
dude,
you're done.
He's like, go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, try on some gloves, make sure you have several pairs so that you can be swapping them out and keeping them dry. And then he actually brought up a blow dryer, which I never would have thought, bring a blow dryer to keep them dry.
You're kidding me.
Yeah,
so you could, that's now this Guinness Book, they don't put any rules in there, like you can't use a blow dryer.
So there's kind of a gray area with these records, and I haven't seen it in the guidelines that Guinness puts out, but if you've used grips, Joanne, you can attest to this. Grips that strap to you, they actually help your grip strength. So you're not having to use as much natural grip strength to hold yourself to the bar. Because a lot of those leather palms, they're strapped to your wrist. So when the weight of your body is on top of the bar on that leather palm, it's essentially pulling you at the wrist. So it's taking out all your finger and grip strength.
That's a great way of describing it.
So
I got you.
When I went into it, the last thing I wanted was to do it with like a pair of grips, like any big name grip out there. Most of them strapped to you. So I didn't want to strap anything to my hand because the last thing I want to do is break this record and then have people coming back at me like, oh, well, of course you did that many. You had victory grips or bear claw or whatever. Sure. So I had victory grips, but I never strapped them to my hand.
So people that are new to this, that don't understand Guinness Book of World Record setting and all these good things, you have a camera on you. There's a timer that's just this way. There's checks and balances. So nobody could say you tried to do just that and you didn't.
Yeah. And then you have witnesses that are keeping log and witness statements they have to fill out, and certified coaches actually have to be the ones counting the reps.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a long time. Do they switch out, or is it the same coach?
No, they switch out.
Yeah, I was going to say
4-hour shifts.
How did you sleep? I guess that's my next. And I
don't think he slept.
I don't think. How the heck did you do? Well, I know I did a 25-hour workout in Las Vegas with a DJ before 9/11. It was the week before 9/11. And my Ranger brother-in-law, I asked him, Brian Searcy, give him a shout out. He was with his unit was Tiger Swan. He was an SF guy. He didn't like the big stuff, but he was a Ranger. And he said the key, Bob, when you stay up all night, he goes, stop, don't drink, no caffeine. Protein, hydrate like crazy. Hydrate, but no. Yeah, and I don't know if there's any other tricks to that.
Disagree with the caffeine thing.
Okay, yeah. See, you're like, heck with that. I'm doing the caffeine.
Yeah, I drink coffee for 24 hours.
I'll tell you, at 18 hours, I thought I was going to face plant. But you got to remember, back then, I was, how old was I? I was 30 years old.
Like 12?
No, I was 12. Yeah, I wish I was. I was like 30. No, wait a minute. No, I was 9/11. No. I was 35 years old. I was like 35 years old. I couldn't do it now. There's no way. Yeah. But I mean, and you don't mind me asking.
You stay up for 24 hours all the time. What are you
But I kind of do anyway but I get like 4 hours.
It's bad weather.
That's different. You know what? And you're right. Severe weather, I've been up 36 hours. That's very true. And I do caffeine. But I'm not trying to set up. I'm not like working out. You know, I'm working my brain and working on a computer. That's probably.
But to answer your question about sleep, no, I didn't sleep. I took, so at midnight, this is talking about the muscle ups. I took a break. I was at like 930 something at like 10 o'clock at night.
Jeez. Wow.
I started at 10 a.m. So 12 hours in, I'd already hit 930 something. I don't know. I don't remember. But my hands were starting to hurt pretty bad at that point. So I was like, I need to take a break. I'm going to try to take a nap, and we're going to start back up at midnight.
Jeez.
But I just laid there. My mind was racing. So and that's the same thing that happened with the pull-ups. I tried to take a nap, and I think the adrenaline.
It's right. I was just going to say, it's got to be something like that. It's just because it does. Yeah. I know that feeling. You get there's a dopamine effect at certain points, but then there's a point too. If you do sit or stop doing something, oh my gosh, your body just says, okay, sure, I'll crash.
Oh, Felicia, I could tell you were a very strong woman. You got your faith. We all know that.
Yes.
And everything you've just endured, you've gone through, especially with the loss of your husband. You got your kids you're raising, and one that's old enough, your adult child. But the son who's supporting you go to the gym. What does that do for you when you have somebody? Because I think, and Joanne, tell me, do we all have to have somebody? Do you guys think you have to have somebody? Does that make a difference? Because how would you do a journey like this on your own? Do you feel sometimes you're alone, or do you think this?
Well, I do it sometimes, even if my son is not, even if don't nobody else go with me, I'm gonna still go. So, but I keep my son because he has asthma, so I continuously encourage him to go with me when I go. During school, after school hours, I will take him. But I mean, even if don't nobody else encourage me, I encourage my own self because I'm doing this for me.
Yeah, and that's kind of the key here. You got to do it for you.
Got to do it for me.
Got to do it for you. So, what is your favorite activity? You tell women out there, or men. Men are watching this too.
I love lifting weights.
Really?
But I do the treadmill. I love working out in general. That's awesome. But I love lifting weights, even with my legs.
It strengthens you, though. Joanne, weightlifting is great for women.
100%.
It is.
Why is it good for? It's really important for women for your bone density.
Right. Yes, because I lift more than a lot of the average men's when I go to Planet Fitness. So.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to Planet Fitness to see.
Careful what you wish for, Felicia. Careful what you wish for.
There's Bob again. Hey,
Felicia, there's Bob.
Yes.
I'm following Felicia around.
Yeah.
But with
it's super important for women, especially women over 40, to start lifting heavy weights.
I do.
Not just the little 2 and 3 pound stereotypes out there.
I lift heavy ones.
Yeah, good.
Good for you.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, I do know because Joanne she has a boutique gym, and I've seen women deadlift at her gym. It's unbelievable. I mean, to see the strength, it's balance, it's all those good things. But women who are is it true? Women who are generally taller or maybe a little heavier than somebody who's very petite, is it they kind of have don't they have an advantage? I thought I heard that with didn't we talk about sport getting more bone density?
No, Bob.
Or not?
No.
Lifting weight. Well, it's the same principle of red blood cells increasing bone density. Because when you're putting pressure, is it pressure?
No.
Is it the pressure lifting weights? So what weights lifting is nothing over. So why'd you say over 40? Why is it important?
Oh well, after you turn 40, Bob, things happen hormonally wise. It's called menopause.
Okay, well, yeah. I'm glad you say it.
Perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, all the
I've
menopause.
Had that at an early age.
Now you know why Joanne's
But really, that's right. Mostly to keep Bob in line.
Yes.
Yeah, just stick with your head in the clouds over there. Keep your head in the clouds, Bob.
Hey, I'm just being the outside voice of the people.
Generally over the age of 40. I mean, you start losing muscle mass, and muscle mass plays a big role in your metabolism. So, if you start losing muscle mass, really after the age of 35, you start losing about 30% of your muscle mass. Every 10 years or so.
That's scary. So
it's kind of scary. So
you feel the difference
through weightlifting and exercise. You can combat that and keep your metabolism stoked.
Yeah, I love it. And stoked, I love the way that is. So you're stoked. I can see it. She's always stoked. Yes. But Felicia, you were saying too before, you're tickled because of the fact that I like that because you're doing it for you, but you got yourself in a space where, hey, you never had gastric bypass surgery.
No.
You lost this, as Joanne said in the beginning, slow and easy.
Yes.
And it's been slow and easy. You continue this, it's staying off as a result. So you're like just digging this. What would you say to other people that feel like they want to take that shortcut? It's like, some people may be impatient. I mean, and I'm just thinking of the stresses on the outside world that you dealt with. I mean, almost 10 years cancer-free now. And then the loss of a husband, you got your kids. You got a lot of exterior stuff going on, which could very easily make you slip back to old ways.
Yes.
And you're not doing it.
No. I don't have anything against surgery. Let's get that straight, because I was a candidate was going to do it. But to me, even with having surgery, you still have to eat correct, and you still got to go and tone that. So with me, I had to just believe in myself that, hey, let's go ahead and start this now. So when I started this now, I've lost more than a lot of people that have had surgery.
And that's, you see that a lot. And then
you still get the same results. So if, surgery, if that's a possibility, that's, like I said, there's nothing against it. You still have to eat. Even when you have surgery, you still, to keep that weight off, you got to eat healthy. You have to exercise. You have to do all of that. So with me, I done it before I had, even thought about surgery. And I want to make sure I keep doing it.
Small, frequent meals?
Yes, I eat small meals.
And that's the key that you've been doing.
That's the key. And don't think when you eat once a day that's okay, because that's not.
Because then your body's retaining it.
Yes, it's just storing it. It's storing it. Yes.
What's your favorite meal? What's your breakfast? Tell us what your day's like. You wake up in the morning. What does Felicia do to
kick my breakfast mostly every morning. Shout out to Burger King on 285.
Oh, whoa.
But basically, like, every morning I get up.
Yeah.
I'm up early because I'm at my mama's house. I'm doing things for my mother.
And you're doing that too. You're amazing.
Or either I'm working out, but I go get me a bowl of cheese grits sometime with a side, or the bacon from Burger King. When I get through with that, I come back and drink my water. During the lunch, during between, before I eat lunch, I might snack on like little peanuts, like a handful of peanuts if I get hungry in between. Well, now I do some like granola bar, banana. Then I'll, when I do eat, I eat like the little salads from Walmart.
Okay. They're already prepackaged.
They're already prepackaged. You just put them in there, put the dressing on it. That's good. And in the beginning, when he told me to eat more vegetables, I go by the bird's eye vegetable from Walmart. Also, it has everything in it. Because I was like, I don't eat zucchini, squash, and all that. But that bird's eye pack, you'll eat it. Because only they do just season it, steam it, and it's good.
So this is, you're not even talking about what's it called, the Impossible Whopper? You don't do any of that?
I don't do that.
Because I don't even know if is that really good for you?
I don't eat that.
Process. Yeah.
No, it's like that's processed. I don't eat it.
Yeah, so it's better to eat. So you notice I hear a lot of stories. You're eating the bacon, which is more almost like a fat burner. You don't have the bad carbs. It seems like.
I don't have the bad, but I got the good.
Yeah, I love that. And what's your snacks? What's your guilty pleasures? You got to have something.
Well, I snack on like when I want to do a cheat day, I get a bag of those Tom's vinegar salt chips.
Oh yes. God, and that's a cheat day where you're pretty good because I can think of a lot worse than that. I mean,
I get my cheat day on the weekend, but if I think I'm going to cheat on the weekend, I'll come back stronger than ever those Mondays. And I love now running to a scale just to make sure that I don't put a pound back on.
But that's the key, Joanne. What is it with that? And Felicia, I ask you both. What is it with the scale? Because you hear mixed reviews on that. Do you want to go on a scale every day, or is it the way your clothes fit? Because the way your dress is right now, it looks nice, it flows nice. You obviously feel good in it. It works with you. You're happy with it. So is that more important, or is the scale more? I mean, when do scale is important to you? And it's
different for everyone. Yeah. There's some people that just scales are a trigger, and some people that take pictures. So I do a fair amount of personal training, and there's some people that will feel good weighing themselves every day. There's some people that I have that take daily pictures or weekly pictures of themselves. And then that way you can see like where you were, from where to where. It really depends on what they're doing too. If you're doing a lot of strength training, that scale can be a little tricky, especially for women if they're putting on muscle mass over fat mass. So.
And muscle, the truth is, ladies, muscle burns fat.
Well, muscle burns fat, but muscle also weighs more.
It weighs more also.
So that's what I want to get at. So if that's the case, don't let that deceive you, Felicia. You know the difference, right?
I know the difference.
Okay. Because I mean, I would be, want people to get psyched out. Say, oh my God.
Yeah, that's why having access to what's called an in-body, which is basically measures your body fat. You can do it. You typically, I mean, we have it at our gym, Southern Nutrition on Fort Benning Boulevard, or Fort Benning, down by Fort Benning Boulevard, I guess it is. And then Whittlesley Road location also has in-body, and I think it's free. Oh, wow. So you can go in and you can check your body fat. That way, if you need a marker.
Why was it? What? Why is it that you finishing? It's not about the time necessarily when you try to tell people to complete some kind of 100-miler, or is it a triathlon, whatever it may be. Completion is most important, right? I mean, mentally, and it's not necessarily.
Yeah, I think most people sign up for an event just to see if they can do it. Most people. There's some type A's out there. I'm not very type A. I'm very type Z.
What is Z?
So, the opposite of type A.
Okay, it would be the other side of the alphabet, like omega. Yeah. I'm the alpha, omega.
I'm definitely the omega.
Okay.
And sometimes
not the end, but you make it to the end.
Yeah, I make it to the end. I don't know. So for most people, it's just kind of personal challenge.
Yeah.
And I mean, coming up on, let's see, the new year is 31 days away.
Yeah.
So many people will be setting new personal challenges for the upcoming year.
Let me ask you this. The other day I was running. There was a new trail in our area. And I'm going to tell you, anybody listening to this, because most athletes love to travel to find
Pine Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the picture.
Yeah, did you see it?
I didn't believe you that you were running a new trail the other day. So.
Oh, I thought so you really didn't.
I mean, I didn't know what you were talking about.
Oh, for God's sake.
I just faked it until I made it.
Oh, for crying out loud. So I was thinking, too.
Just like most of my life.
Because Kevin said, well, let me give everyone the backstory here. We, in Georgia, the state of Georgia, Alabama too, or wherever you may be, anywhere in California, if you're listening, I don't care where you are, it's worth coming here. And you can always sign up for a triathlon, trycolumbusga.com, because you have Callaway Gardens, you got Uptown Columbus, you got the river, the longest whitewater river experience, urban whitewater experience, and we have mountains, and we have an all-inclusive course that you could come up to Callaway. It's beautiful. And people do come from all over. It's a destination place when we do our athletic stuff. But this one is just off the Callaway Gardens route, as you said, Pine Mountain. Harris County, Georgia. There's so many Harris counties. I'm thinking a lot of people think Houston when we say that, but Harris County, Georgia has great trails, just mountain trails and everything else. So here I am this second time. I bring one of my colleagues with me to experience this. And it's a 5 mile down and 5 mile back will give you a 10-mile round trip. So the portion is almost 900 feet above sea level where you start up at this country store. You run down, so it's all downhill.
So it starts at the country store.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And here's something really crazy too. Despite the elevation, this is they call it the Man of War because it was a train back when Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the president of the United States, FDR. FDR got on the train. You literally experience this, whether you hike, ruck, bike, walk, run, whatever you want on this trail. You got to think about it when you're doing it. You're in that space like, hey, the president sat in this car
car and just looking, and you go over the bridge where the president was on, and now you're physically.
That's pretty cool.
It's the Rails to Trails program. It's around the whole U.S., and we have some of that too here in Columbus. Yeah, we got the Dragonfly Trail and everything else. We got to get
in my defense, though.
Yes.
When I call you, and most of the time when I call you, you are running.
Well, it's just,
quite literally,
and I don't run that much.
And you are out of breath, and you're talking about the weather and what's coming the next week. And so I was trying to piece things together, and then I saw the post on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh man, that's where he was."
See, and that's why
he wasn't being crazy. I thought in my head I had you picture like running up and down, I don't know, 27, which is like a highway.
Parallel to it, and it's parallel to 27. Portions of it is parallel to 27.
Well, in my head, I was thinking he's running up and down this 2-lane, very busy road, which would not be abnormal for you.
Right, yes.
Yeah. But I was like, he's crazy. He's gone over the edge. But I'm glad to know that you are now running on a very safe path. Perfectly paved.
But what's funny about it is, because Kevin's very literal and everything, and he's hearing you because I got you in speaker, and he's running next to me, and you're telling me, and he goes, and you're so, Joanne is just, nothing rattles her cage. In fact, what you see is what you get. Even if the worst thing is happening right now, Joanne is still that calm. Now, I don't know what's going on internally inside her head, but it comes out the same way every time. That's what I think is very fascinating. But as you called me and you're saying this, I was on the upswing now. Now I'm on the up portion of it. So imagine you're going down a mountain, and the rest of the course, 5 miles going up. I mean, there's portions that may level a little bit, but you're generally always going up in elevation. So when you called, I was out of breath. Could have been something, it could have something else. And I just tell you I'm running. No, I'm just kidding. But I
oh man,
terrible. Stop it. But anyway, but here I am running up, and Joanne goes, Bob, why are you running like that? That's just how, if I can paraphrase what you said. And then you said, are you training for something? What are you training for?
Well, yeah, because there's nothing. It's December.
I know, but I was like, I was thinking of the free half marathon coming up. But that could be. So now I have an excuse. Yeah, I was training for that, Joanne. That's it. But But what's funny is that because you were saying this, Kevin goes, wouldn't she be excited? Because she's he knows her.
I was excited, director. Kevin.
Yeah, okay. Well, tell
I was very excited
because he didn't think
that was my excited voice.
Okay, he didn't understand. He thought, well, you think she would be like encouraging? I said, no, it's just Joanne. She was just saying, but if you're not training, Bob, why are you doing? But now we know the backstory why, because you didn't believe that I was actually doing that.
I run, sort of.
Yeah.
I participate so that I can have coffee after with my run group. That's really the only reason I'm there. And
there's no reaction to Joanne after her caffeine? 1 cup?
No, I've had 3 cups of coffee today.
Could never tell. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I got this with Ticino. I mix it with carrot root, hickory, chicory. It's roasted, and I put just a little caffeine in it because I'm dealing with some, mid-50 male stuff. So I thought, and I promise I wouldn't get into that. But you know what I mean. The coffee decreases the amount.
It's a loaded coffee.
Yeah, it is in a different way, right? And it's loaded, and it's going to put a little oat milk in it, so,
As long as there's no Baileys in there, I think we're good.
We won't. Yes, right, exactly. So going back to athletes and everything, a little bit of my story. I did triathlons when I was out west a lot. Had a lot of accidents. I was an ice hockey player. I wrestled. My neck is really messed up. So I backed off of riding bikes as a result, because all my accidents seemed to be on bikes back in the days, and really shoulder surgery. They want neck surgery next. I had knee surgery. So I'm like, I'm done with surgeries because I don't do well with surgeries. It takes me forever to do it. But you can do other activity, and that's what, I love being part of all that and remembering all those fun days. So there's duathletes now. You don't have to necessarily bike, or you could bike, or you could just do one. You could do whatever you want.
Duathletes bike.
Yeah, bike
it's
would be
bike
duathlete. It'd be bike and run.
Yeah.
But I can run, and somebody can bike, and then
sure. Yeah.
Right. And as I was about to say, and then there's swim portion. If you ever want to do a swim, you can incorporate a team. A relay team, and then you can have the swimmer, then you can have the bike, and then
teamwork,
the runner.
making the dream work.
Yeah, and those are always fun. So those are things I'm just trying to tell people. If you have any injuries, or you can find that specific thing, particularly if it's something like that, and hopefully people could come to this area and just experience the cool stuff we have.
Yeah.
But you were saying your toughest feat was what? I mean, give everyone just to remind them, what is your background? I mean, because you love fitness.
Yeah. I mean, I've been doing stuff all my life, I guess, which is a long time, Bob.
Yeah. Okay.
We're
trying to figure that age out. Dylan, you have any ideas? Never ask a woman her age.
I mean, I grew up in Canada, so in Canada and a while ago, you could play all the sports, and
right.
It's not really the way it is in the South here, anyway, where you're kind of committed and dumped into one sport for your whole life. So, I mean, I played basketball, volleyball, track, not really cross country, because remember, I don't like to run really much.
Yeah.
But I played badminton. I was on the badminton team.
Jeez, really?
Yeah, I rode for a while, did some crew. Yeah, so anything and everything. So I just got to try it all. I'm really terrible at golf. I'm really terrible at tennis. And I'm horrendous at bowling. Those are the three things.
Well, those are concentration sports, which I think you would be very good at. I mean, badminton,
yeah.
indoors.
I can throw the ball further than I can drive the ball.
Yeah, I think that's interesting.
Which is better.
Yeah, the putt, that's where
I passed my class in college.
Wow.
We had to play 3 holes of golf. And it was I played collegiate softball. And
I could see you as a softball player.
The softball players and the baseball players had to play three holes of golf, and we just threw the ball instead of hit the ball. So it was much more efficient. And
bowling,
like
Caddyshack.
I mean, bowling,
Canadian
you had to get like, I don't know, 84. I think that was your score to pass, and it took like 5 hours.
Wow.
It's terrible. In tennis, I mean, I dropped that class because I couldn't keep the ball in the court. So.
Wow.
Anyway.
Interesting.
So yeah, I've played sports all my life, and it's my job, my profession.